We hear about depression all the time, but we mostly talk about it like it's just a mood or a feeling you're supposed to get over. But what if I told you it's a physical illness, one that you can actually see on a brain scan? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the incredible science that shows what's really happening inside the brain when someone is depressed.
Okay, first things first, let's just get a sense of the scale here. Take a look at this number, 320 million. That's how many people around the world are living with depression right now. And we're not just talking about having the blues for a couple of days. This is a leading cause of disability across the entire globe. It's huge.
And that leads to this really common and honestly deeply harmful question people ask. Why can't they just snap out of it? Well, the answer has absolutely nothing to do with willpower. It's about biology. And to really get it, we need to look at how our whole understanding of this has changed over the years. All right, so our journey into the science really starts with the explanation that most of us have probably heard before. For decades, the story of depression was pretty much all about chemicals. And the star of that chemical story was serotonin. You know it, right? It gets called the feel-good chemical. The theory was pretty simple. If you have depression, your brain just isn't making enough of the stuff. It was kind of like a car trying to run with no gas in the tank. Now, this whole idea led to antidepressants that were designed to boost serotonin. And hey, for a lot of people, they really did help. But there was a puzzle, a big one. If it was just about low serotonin, why did these medications take weeks, sometimes even months, to start working? And why didn't they work for everyone? It turns out that whole chemical story, it was just the first chapter. So that puzzle pushed scientists to look deeper, not just at the brain's chemistry, but at its actual physical structure. And what they found, well, it pretty much changes everything we thought we knew. Get this. Brain scans started revealing something really startling. In people dealing with long-term depression, key areas of the brain looked physically different. The hippocampus, which is this super important region for memory and your emotions, was often literally smaller. The connections between brain cells looked weaker. And the main reason for all this damage? Chronic stress. This process, the one that creates new brain cells, has a name. It's called neurogenesis. And this right here is the critical insight. Depression isn't just a chemical low, it's a growth deficit. It physically slows down the brain's own ability to repair itself. So this completely reframed how we think about treatment. Maybe antidepressants work not just by rebalancing chemicals, but by helping the brain to heal and regrow, kickstarting that neurogenesis process all over again. But that just raises another question, right? If stress can cause these physical changes, how come some people can go through something really traumatic and bounce back, while other people develop depression? Well, the next piece of this puzzle is hiding in our DNA. There was this landmark study that followed over 800 people for 5 years, and they were looking at one single gene, the one that transports serotonin. Now, we all get 2 copies of this gene, and they come in either a long or a short version. The results were just incredible. People with 2 long copies were super resilient to stress, but folks with just 1 short copy had a 33% chance of getting depressed after a major stressful event. And for those with 2 short copies, the risk was way, way higher. This showed us that our genes don't decide our destiny, but man, they can really set our sensitivity to life's challenges. And the evidence for this genetic link gets even more powerful when you look at twin studies. With identical twins who share the exact same DNA, if one of them develops bipolar disorder, which is a related condition, the other twin has a staggering 60 to 80% chance of developing it too. That's a huge number. It's a powerful way of showing that while life events might pull the trigger, our genes can really load the gun. So let's put this all together, right? We have the chemical story, we have physical changes in the brain structure, and we have a genetic component. So what does this new, much more complex picture really mean for how we support ourselves and for how we support the people we care about? Look, if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Depression is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a complex medical illness with real, measurable physical roots in our biology. And understanding that, it just changes everything. So, how does knowing this science actually change how we help someone? It means we can finally shift from judgment to compassion. It means we understand that their brain is fighting a real biological battle that they can't just will their way out of. And it means we should encourage them to get medical help, not as some kind of last resort, but as a crucial, practical step to support their brain's healing process.
And hey, if you are the one who's struggling right now, this science actually holds a message of real hope. Research shows us that isolation yourself can physically make things worse, while connecting with family and friends can reduce stress and literally support your brain's recovery. Seeking treatment isn't admitting defeat, it's you actively helping your brain rebuild and restore its own natural process of growth. So I'll leave you with this to think about. If we all started seeing depression, not as a weakness of character, but as a physical illness, the same way we view heart disease or diabetes, how does that change everything? How does it change the conversation, the treatment, and the way we recognize the incredible strength it takes to live with it and to overcome it?